I'm going
That one right there, it's on your right hand side too,
for real?
on the ground, by your right foot,
Yeah.
on the outside of your chair.
Oh shit, I do. Oops. All right. I think after learning what I learned last night, this would be a good subject to talk about.
What is that? What'd you learn
Mo'o.
last night?
About the people that came by to visit.
Oh,
Something that they can relate to as well, I think.
mm-hmm.
I wish I had got my little screwdriver. Troy, how's it?
Oh, what is that for your
My
the
lights.
lights?
Hey, Sandy. Hey, Cheryl. How's it? Hey, Jamie. Aloha, Ui.
What's the switch?
Huh?
What's the switch? Oh, gang.
Oh, bruh. I like being tired, bro. I didn't even work today and I'm tired. Alucard and
That's when you're the
Martha. How's
most
it?
tired, bro. When you don't do nothing all day.
Yeah. I don't say I didn't do
Well, I,
nothing
I
all
know you
day.
did stuff,
I
but
went
it's like,
Costco. That's
yeah.
exhausting, bro. Holy moly. Ah, okay. Wait, I'm gonna get another. Bruh. I don't like load up on caffeine, but
Told you I could have got
I just bought
you.
one energy drink.
I could have got you a coffee, something, you know.
I saw this and like, bro, it's only like $20 for the whole case of it. The cappuccinos.
Fucking, you can drink them all tonight, though. The rate you're going.
My son already had like three. His girlfriend had like one or two. Maka and I had
Bruh.
couple. I'm like, oh, cuz,
Oh,
this thing just
bro.
came home at like 3 p.m., bro. Gone already.
Half gone, huh?
Yeah.
Like, tree, holy stroke.
Hey,
Bruh.
brother Rob, how's it? We're gonna tell more stories tonight. We're gonna talk about the supernatural mo'o. The Hawaiians had called gods at one point. The lizard people calling spirits. A whole bunch of stuff. The Hawaiians, yeah. Joy, how's it?
Marsha.
Sean, how's it, bro?
Yeah, glad you got back safe, brother. Hope the weather was nice out there. It was
Yeah,
sunny today. Team Tahiti.
yeah. Stories, legends, my own personal experience, that kind of stuff tonight. Yeah. The Royal Mills. I don't know. It's called cappuccino. Royal Mills. That's the one. Yeah. A Costco one. Huh? Not sponsored. Yeah, but still good. Joy, good to see you. Hope you guys are doing up. Hope you guys are doing good up in Vegas. I keep thinking about you guys for some reason. Just must be hot. Bro, I hope brother Corey's enjoying the hot.
Well,
you guys gonna miss the ocean. Oh my gosh.
it's start getting cold
Oh,
already up there.
freezing now. Nice shot. Where are we at tonight? Same place over here. We're over at Judd Trail, Old Putty Road. The nice safe place. We had I found out from my, should I say her name? Hey, Pineapple, how's it? How's it? Highest is the 70s. Wow.
Yeah,
So no
no, it's
swimming anyway,
should be getting cold up there already.
huh?
Or start to.
Oh, nice. I figured this would be an appropriate subject, and I might be doing it a little bit different tonight too, because um, 2 nights ago we were here, right? 2 nights ago,
Yeah, Friday.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there was a shadow walking around down the trail over there that popped up, and that was that was an elite that used to live right up the street, right up the road from where I am at his summer house. Kawikeo Uli, I think, right? Uli. And so it's awesome being told that I am telling stories in the presence of Ali'i. It's just, ooh, cool. Derry, how's it? Yeah, chat away, brother. Or sister, brother. Yeah, brother. You stay drinking a Mega Monster Energy. Oh, that sounds great.
Red Bull, baby, Red Bull.
Dustin. Warm clothes though, huh? Yeah. Oh man, that sounds fun. That sounds fun for like a week, and then afterwards, too much. Yeah, we're by Jackass in Japan. That's exactly where. We're at a haunted place, Derry, telling ghost stories of Hawaiian nature. We do them every night, 8 o'clock Hawaii time. Tonight's subject is the mo'o, the supernatural lizards, the lizard people. That have also been known to be demigods, mountains, that kind of stuff as well, yeah. So I think we're just gonna dive right in. Hold on. Stop fucking around with this and just drink it.
Can't believe my no man. No man, can't.
So yeah, maybe there's another guest tonight. We'll see, but I'm gonna start to tell it like that, yeah. Captain Blackbird, good to see you. I don't know anything about the cursed aloha shirt, but I have seen many cursed looking aloha shirts.
We do have that ugly aloha shirt contest there.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't been here since the '90s. Is the place Pilau? Nah, it used to be, but there used to be a lot of garbage here, but people have picked it up and it's nice and clean. So it's actually been kind of nice for the last few months, yeah. A lot of spirits around here, and which is why we tell the stories. We used to come here on the tours, and we notice that the spirits enjoy the stories almost more than the people, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and begin. Do you allow fan subscribers to join at broadcast locations? Of course. Just come up, but don't sneak in the bush. Don't be sketchy. You know what I mean? By all means, we go to public places. Please join us. If you want to know where we're gonna be the next night, shoot me a message. Yeah. On my YouTube channel, I have the link to my Facebook, to my TikTok, and all of that stuff as well. You can shoot me a message and see. Come meet up. That's why we go public places, huh? Mickey, how's it? Yeah. I'm not scared that they follow me home because they follow Matt instead. I'm just kidding. We go out here, and I've been doing this long enough where as a tour guide, I was a protector, yeah. So things typically don't follow me home if you do things the right way, yeah. And if they do, I just turn them over to my guides and my guardians, and they get their okoles kicked and all of that. It's yeah. Live streaming only at night for the most part. Last week I was doing it in the daytime when I was up at the volcano, Mauna Kea, on the Big Island, but like I gotta go back work this week, so I cannot stream in the daytime. If I can, I will, but maybe we'll see on the weekends. I do want to go to Kaena Point one of these nights and stream as the sun is going down from Kaena Point at the rock where the spirits jump over the rock as the sun goes down. Oh, see, I can just talk story all night. Pearl City, yeah. And you know, I'll play that for you guys. We did an investigation at Pearl City High School. Was it last year? No, the year before, huh?
Yeah, I think it was it? Might have been 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not sure if it was the same year I was coming out. I started coming out.
No, it wasn't last
The year
year.
before,
No.
yeah.
You would have been there if it was last year. Yeah, no. This
No,
was.
I don't think so. You guys went before October. That's why, right? You didn't.
You're right, because
September
I didn't
13th
do a live. That's right.
September 13 came up after, I believe, when you guys did the one at the Poly.
Yep. And I don't have it saved. Really? But I'll play that actually. We caught a scream, yeah. You went KLM building. Yeah, we went KLM building, JB. That was the one. And one of my friends had streamed it live. I know it's on my Facebook. Let me find them. Ho, sorry. I just saw a picture of Mr. Kapanui. It was mean. Awesome. Let's see. More, not photos. Let's go to bugs all over the place. We were down at the band room and we caught a scream. Like a legitimate girl screaming. Like she was falling off of KLM building. That's where it came from, yeah. Bruh, I cannot find them. Maybe I'll look after. I'll go start with the stories over here.
You heard that?
What did you hear? Huh?
The high pitch screech
You heard a screech?
far in the distance.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never heard that. Right on.
Female, female.
Ooh, Waiakea School in Hilo. I'm not too sure about that one. I think I did drive by it though. Yeah. We get too much bugs. Aussie, good to see you, brother. Hey, Kalea, how's it? Okay. We'll go ahead and begin the story. So I'm not saying hi to everybody all night. Yeah, the girl jumped off KLM building. I'll tell that story tonight. Please remind me again, and I'll try to find it again. I thought I saved them. I know I saved them. It's probably on this phone that I'm streaming from. You know what? I know where it is. I just gotta scroll all the way up through all the pictures. I'll do that after. The mo'o is the subject for tonight. I usually love to talk about the mo'o. Yeah. They have so many just amazing stories and encounters and all of that stuff. It's just they were some of the old gods, and like you look at some of the mountains, and the Hawaiians claim that some of the mountain ridges and the mountain ranges are mo'o themselves. There was one by Kualoa. And I remember there was one time I lived Kaneohe, but I was driving by Kualoa, and the mountain at that angle with the sun looked exactly like an alligator with the legs coming out on the side and the tail coming out. And Chinaman's hat Mo'oli'i Chinaman's hat is actually the, according to the legend, Hi'iaka Ikopoli Pele chopped off the tail of the mo'o she fought after she defeated it, threw it into the water, and that's Chinaman's hat, just the tip of the tail to give you an idea about how big they are. Oh, right on, Sean. I'll go check that one out. Sorry, I think a bug just flew into my throat. um, but yeah, they could be small, they could be big. You go down to one of the elementary schools in Kaimoki, and they have the whole thing about that. Keith, good to see you, bro. How's it? And they have stories and legends of the mo'o and all of that. Um, I guess we'll begin with one. Like mo'o are known to be as well the more the kolohe ones, and I've been scolded about this by them. Is most of them are passive. Most of them are just chilling. They're cool. They're neutral. They're like us, right? They're not good. They're not bad, but they just kind of hang out. They do their thing. They protect the freshwater sources, sometimes the salt water, and they guard it, and that kind of stuff. That's their kuleana. That's their responsibility. They serve places that they dwell. But it's the bad ones that stick out that we have stories about. The ones that try to lure you off the edge of the cliff and all of that. Hey, thank you for all the roses. Mahalo. Um, oh, mahalo. Wow. Thank you, Granny. So, like, we would go to the Pali Lookout on the tour, which we're also going to do in a few days. Maybe this week. Yeah, we'll go check out the Pali. Um, and just do the stories up there, walk around the lookout, just that kind of thing. Have a good time and share ghost stories. Maybe we'll go a little earlier. We'll see. I'll announce it on my pages anyway. But when we would go there on the tours from 2008 to 2012, 13, 14, we would take tourists, locals, military, whoever came on the tour. We take them over to the lookout, tell them stories about the battle between Kamehameha and Kalani Kupuli. Then we take them down the road, the old Pali Road, before it was closed off and locked up and all of that. And as we would walk down the old Pali Road, it's a different atmosphere. You no longer have the warriors that are fighting. You no longer have the battle that happened over there. Those events didn't happen further down the road. Further down the road, you're dealing with things that are more spirits that were never people, right? Not ghosts, but spirits that were never people by nature. One of the stories I would tell came from Dr. Glenn Grant's book, Obake Files, right? The book I grew up on, the one I grew up reading, and I just absorbed all the stories. This story was from a guy that shared it with Dr. Grant at the Iolani Palace by the banyan tree in the back, where there is said to be mo'o and calling spirits as well in the banyan trees, right? This was a guy named Stephen. Stephen was from the East Coast, and he was studying down at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. And so in the daytime, maybe about 10 o'clock in the morning, he decides to just go and explore the island. It's So he drives up to the Pali Lookout and decides to go take the little nice hike down the old Pali Road, that old highway that's been abandoned in favor of the larger highway that has been expanded in the tunnels. And as he's walking down the old Pali Road, he's going around one of the ridges and he sees this beautiful woman just walking up towards him, going out towards the lookout. This beautiful Hawaiian woman, his age. And he looks at her and he just kind of smiles, like, wow, she's hot, And she smiles and nods too. And then she walks by him. And then from behind, he hears a voice, her voice saying, Steven, wait, is that you? And Steven's like, who's this chick? You know, how does she know my name? This is a girl. She's so gorgeous that if you were to look at her, you would never forget her, right? He's thinking like, how does she know my name? Okay, maybe she sits behind me in one of my classes and I've already got to see her. But he turns around, strikes up a conversation, and they soon start talking. And she's asking him, oh, so Steven, have you been here before? And he's like, no, this is my first time. This is my first time over here. It's beautiful with all the clouds and blue sky and the flowers coming up and the guava growing on the side and all of that. It's a beautiful place. And she's like, well, it is. Let me show you a place not many people get to see. And Steven's like, sure. What is it? She's like, it's there's waterfalls. If you go down a little ways, you go hike up into a little ridge. They have two waterfalls over there, and we can go swimming over there. And Steven's like, well, I didn't bring any clothes. And she's like, that's okay, me neither. Wink, wink. And Steven's like, oh, all right, let's do. So this beautiful chick is flirting with him, and they start walking down the trail. And they're flirting heavily and all of that stuff. And he's just getting, like, just falling in love and like, oh, this chick is hot, and he notices something strange, but it doesn't matter. She knows the trail so well that she's walking backwards down the old road and she's looking at him, keeping eye contact, flirting with him, smiling. Her eyes are lighting up and he's just falling more and more in love with her. And she's not tripping, she's not stumbling, nothing. And they walk down about 5-10 minutes and she's just talking to him and telling him everything he wants to hear. And then all of a sudden, she stumbles a little bit. She stumbles and looks down at her feet and breaks eye contact with Steven. And Steven, looks up. And then Steven's looking at her, and then she stumbles. She looks back up at him, and her face had changed. This young, beautiful face was now replaced by the face of an old woman. And the old woman looked at Steven and said, Steven, run! And Steven stopped and he was like, what the heck? He's kind of like that, something that old lady was very familiar to him all of a sudden. He's like, what the heck is that? And so he blinks and that old woman's face is gone, and that beautiful young girl's face is back again. And staring at him and talking to him like nothing happened. And they continue walking back down the road back, and she continues walking, eyes locked on his eyes locked on her, and he realizes soon that he can't look away from her. She has him under some kind of trance. Something doesn't feel right anymore. Obviously, her face just went disappear. Something doesn't feel right, and he's trying to stop and trying to control, but he has no control over his body. He's in a trance, just walking one foot in front of the other as this girl is still seducing him and whatever. And they continue walking a little bit more, and then all of a sudden, a few minutes later, she trips again. And as she trips again, her eye contact breaks and her face is replaced by that same old woman. Steven, what are you doing? Run, she's gonna kill you. And Steven takes one look, stops, looks at his feet, breaks eye contact with her, and he notices his feet are just about a couple feet away from the cliff, a 900-foot drop straight down to the ground. He watches in horror as the girl continues to walk backwards over the cliff. Instead of plunging the 900 feet down to her death, her feet disappear. And she's floating like on a cloud over the cliff. He doesn't look up. He's looking at her feet. He looks at his. He watches her feet disappear. He turns around and he runs back up to the parking lot. The whole time he's running back up to the parking lot, he can hear her laughing in his ear. He can hear her laughter just echoing in his head, saying, I'll get you next time, Stephen. That's a story of a mo'owahine, a calling spirit, one of the more kolohe ones, perhaps. Um, so one night I was sharing that story on the Old Pali Road. Actually, that's one of the stories I would tell going down the Old Pali Road. But one night we went all the way down because that place that she had described is actually real. Yeah. Hey Adina, how's it? Hey everybody, aloha. Um, that place is real. When you get out of the tunnels, there's Likeke Falls you can hike up to, and when you go above the falls, if you look up from the bottom of the falls, you look up, you see the old Pali Highway over there, the remnants of it, and then it continues to go up, back further into a valley. And that valley is very strange. Yeah, the Hawaiians, we have what's called tea leaf plant, Ti. The tea leaf plant make a barrier or something like that, right? The tea leaf plant makes like a barrier for spirits. That's kind of what I was taught. And if you look back there on the top of the ridge, on each side, it's like a V. You have tea leaf plants that grow from the top of the ridge and they go all the way down to where the river comes through. And a tea leaf don't grow wild, they're buried. They're planted there for a reason. If you go to a place where there's tea leaf or kukui nut trees or whatever, it was planted there for a reason, most likely. The tea leaf doesn't really flower or have seeds, and so it will fall off and it might roll down the hill, and another one would plant. It's a root that grows, and so it looked like there was a wall keeping whatever was in the back of the valley in the back of the valley, and there are twin waterfalls back there to go to, right? I went back down there one night with some friends, and I was telling some of the stories, and we had even brought an offering, a ho'okupu, and we left the offering over there. It didn't like the offering, so but we were scolded because when I told that story, um, we had our equipment going off and we had a sensitive with us as well, medium, and she was like, "Oh no, they don't like that story, Joe." I'm like, "Really? That happened over here?" She's like, "They're upset at you because you're portraying them like that, and they're not portrayed like that. They they're not bad spirits. One or two of them may be a little more bad, but most of them are not bad, and you're making it sound like they're bad." So I make the point to do a little disclaimer, yeah, that they're not bad, they're not evil, they're not malevolent spirits, but like us, you might have one or two that are a little more stupid. Um, More towards Halloween, I think the 24th and 28th, whatever Friday that falls under, I'm gonna have my friend Guy Bilanta, and he's gonna talk about a story at the Pali that he was shared, personal, first-hand story about a mo'o possession at the same place. So yeah, that's coming up later on this month. One of my favorite stories from Guy. Yeah, mo'o are water guardians, 100%. They are in the water. Down over here at Judd Trail, you got a place where the river meets another river, and you got mo'o over here. We've had encounters with the mo'o over here from time to time. They're they're friendly. They're awesome. And like my son went last week Saturday to go swim over at Jackass Ginger Falls, and I told him, I'm like, bro, you better be careful, cause get spirits over there. He's like, yeah, yeah, I know, Dad. You told me all of that. I'm like, no, dude. Yeah, you gotta understand. They know me. They go scold me if you act up. You're gonna go shishi, no shishi in the water, go shishi in the bush, okay? You don't shishi in the mo'o's home. One night we were down there on the tour, and like on the tour, after I share that story, I'll tell the group about the calling spirits and what my usual spill is that these are, I'm sorry, these are the calling spirits. They will take on whatever form will lure you into the water. Like if you're a man, of course, it's going to be one beautiful wahinia, one good-looking, beautiful girl that's gonna be, hey honey, like come swim in the water, come wash my back under the waterfall, and the guy's gonna be like, yeah, shoots, we go, like that. But if you're a woman, you're not gonna get a handsome hunk, like Momoa say, hey baby, how you come, no, you're gonna get a child crying for help because that's gonna work. A child drowning in the water. And then it said that the mo'o will then drag you to the bottom of the water and suck out your intestines through your kind. What's going on? Oh, my
I'm
moderators.
sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
My moderators are awesome over here, bro. I don't know what's going on
I
YouTube,
was trying to defuse the situation. They came in thinking, shoot, 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 swiping them. I was like, okay, bye, Felicia.
but
No, I mean, the guy he was just being negative. So
okay, okay.
enough is enough. Sorry
Right.
guys. Don't mind me.
Halloween
Disturbing
in
the
Hawaii
peace.
is epic. Oh yeah. Oh, you go Waikiki. No more even space for walk on the sidewalk in Waikiki. And the traffic is like what 3 hours in. Phew, it's unreal. Hawaii. Everybody likes. Actually, I think the older people like Halloween more now.
By the way, she tells some good stories about the moles too.
Hmm?
The last time we was up the reservoir. That was like the first time I was like, the closest you can see me to running. Through the chair,
Bro,
the car, everything. Like we go,
I was
we
thinking
out, Joe.
about,
Let's
I
go.
was thinking about going to the reservoir tonight, but I'm like, not after what happened last time, bro.
That's
We
what I
went
was
book
thinking.
it, bro. We was
I never
running
like
out.
freaking. So what, reservoir then, or are we going down by the freaking
Yeah,
down the trail? I was
I
like,
want to chill out. I don't like run. I don't like run out tonight, bro. I'm good.
oh, bruh, that night was freaking eerie though. Oh man, that night changed fast.
Anyway,
You should tell about that night too though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't even remember much of the details. I remember that all I remember is we left real fast.
You know,
There was something. Oh yeah, that's right. The
we
eyes,
went
yeah.
down the trail, the
Whew.
eyes,
Oh yeah,
freaking the
yeah.
shadows I seen. I was like, then I would shine my light in the stuff and piss off all the guys in the trees. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
This just something was coming. It was like, no, it's time to
Something was
go,
there,
bro.
bro.
Yeah.
Like 3 feet away, I see these three red pairs of glowing eyes. 3 feet away on the other side of the fence. I'm like, okay, let's start packing everything up.
Yeah, it was one of those uncomfortable nights where I never know which way for sit, which direction. I was just
Yeah.
like,
The whole night, bro. There was
bruh,
stuff
like I
watching
don't know,
us,
something
looking
is just
around,
not right, but I feel something coming. Like
right by the
I don't know
water
what it is,
reservoir.
but
Yeah,
yeah, this is just it's eerie over here tonight.
yeah. Mr. Mayhem. Hey, what's up, Lambert? Phoebe, how's it? How's it? Hey, everybody. Yeah. So yeah, that's the yeah. Sorry.
So
Hey,
yeah,
get distracted, bro.
you better tell some nice stories,
We're
bro.
not even distracted about the ghosts this time. We distracted about people, the chat. Like, no.
Sorry guys. I was just sparking his memory. Oh man.
Yeah, can drive by. We went over there, just like border water supply. Yeah. Hey, Chuck, how's it, brother? Good to see you. Brad, how's it? How's it? Are you a ghost hunter? I tell stories at haunted places. I don't hunt for things that can do a better job hunting for me. But yeah, not inside. I've been inside a couple times for my job. I like camp over there. I might go camping there sometime in the future.
Where's this?
Up the big reservoir, hide in
Oh.
the bushes, kind of
Mm.
camping. Yeah, that'll be fun. But that's kind of illegal too. Yeah. um, one night we're at the old Poly Road, down the old Poly Road, just right past the fence where we tell the stories on the group. I'm sorry, wait, we are over at Judd Trail again. Catfishing, yep. And one night we were down there, and I believe this was one of the tours that started at midnight and ended at like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning. It must have been like on a Friday the 13th or something. And so I'm there under the big tree. The tree had a little rope, creepy rope, whatever. You know what I mean? Just people do stupid stuff. And as I'm telling the story, my back is to the trail that goes further down around the turns and all that, and I'm facing the people up the trail towards the pulley, and they're facing me towards the back, right? They see behind me, I see behind them. Oh, well, we have, I had another little memory pop up. It was so cool. Like, so many things happen over there. You go there night after night telling ghost stories. Um, hold on, getting ahead of myself. No, you know what? Let's go do this one. Um, we were, I was standing there, and this time I was looking down the road because the people over there were looking up towards the pulley, and I was looking down at them. And as I'm telling the story, I watched there was a girl in the front, the people just all kind of like semicircle around in the front listening to the stories and stuff. And I had this girl, maybe about 19, 18, 19, 20. She's just over there. And maybe even 16 or 17, I don't know. And as I'm talking, I watch her hair, her long hair, just get lifted up like her pigtails just lifted up over her head. Something was playing with her hair. No, that wasn't pigtails. Was her hair? It was a ponytail. Just lifted her hair up, and her hair is just. And I look at her face, and she's just like she's so scared she doesn't want to move. When ghosts literally lifting her hair up, and I'm like, oh no. It's not a. I don't feel like it's a bad ghost. It's allowed in my bubble. It's not bad. You know what I mean? But something was just a little niele. Something was a little, uh, you know, what it was what it was. It wanted to find out what's going on and all that. But the girl was just so freaked out, man. I'm like thinking, what am I gonna do? As I'm telling the story, I'm like, oh, myself. Oh wow! And I look at her, and everybody looks, and they're like, like what the hell's going on? And I'm like, oh wow, what kind of shampoo you use? The ghosts love your shampoo, you know. And I'm like, oh, but for real, you gotta put her hair down. She don't like that. And then the hair went down, and I just kept cracking some more jokes, and we continued on the tour. I don't like people freaking out when you right by one 900-foot drop. Yeah. Hey Cindy, how's it? TikTok and YouTube. Yeah. But that was a really cool experience. I don't know if that was more or not, but I mean, just to watch that girl's hair floating and stuff, it was kind of. You had to play it, downplay it a little bit because I don't like people get scared. But might they call me at 3 o'clock in the morning? You know what I mean? So this night it was about maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. We were down the road telling the same stories, and when I was done, I was talking about how if you're a man, you'll hear a woman. If you're a woman, you'll hear a child. Whatever it takes to lure you further and lure you down. And as I say that, all the way down the trail, down the old Pulley Road behind me, you hear a little girl, and you hear the little girl. You hear this little girl's voice. Hey, hey, you, come help me. Yeah, we all just freeze. We're like, then we hear that voice, hey, hey, you, come help me. Word for word. And I'm like, the hell with that? You know what I mean? I'm like, looking at the group. They're all just kind of looking at me like, what's this guy going to do? And I'm like, I think we should leave, guys. A guy in the group is like, what if that's a girl that needs help? I'm like, 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. Get one little girl down the old Pulley Road. What the hell's the matter with you? He's like, for real, what if it's a little girl that needs help? And I'm like, okay, here's my flashlight. Go take a look. He's like, no, I don't let go. I'm like, yeah, I don't let go either. You know, and so now the thought crossed my mind, what if it's an actual real girl that's calling for help? And I read in the news that something bad happened the next morning. And so I call back down and I'm like, honey, tell me your name. What's your name? Nothing. Tell me who you are. Tell me who your mom is. Tell me who your dad is. Where you from? How old are you? Tell me something. Anything. Hey, hey you, come help me. I'm like, no, no, tell me something else. Tell me something different. Tell me where you live. Tell me what school you go. Something. Nothing. I'm like, tell me anything. Then we're gonna head out. You'd like me to come down and find you? You gotta tell me something else. We gave it like 10 seconds. I meant to give it like 30 seconds, but 10 seconds, I'm like, nope, let's get out of here. And we bailed. We got out of there. Um, we drove on to our next site. About a couple weeks later, we go up to the Pali Lookout, new tour, new group. We get out of the car at the parking lot. And out of the bushes by the parking lot, you hear that same voice, the same words. Hey, hey you, come help me. We just got out of the car, okay? I didn't even tell a ghost story yet out there. And everybody ran back into the car. And it was the same voice, the same words, the same tone, the same everything. It's like a broken record coming out of the bush this time. And I didn't hang around to find out. We left. About a month or a couple months later, we did a daytime tour, which is more of a Hawaiian cultural tour, where we hiked to Likeke Falls. I think there was about 7 or 8 people with us that were enjoying the some of the legends, some of the history. Not really ghost story. We didn't tell any ghost story. We get to Likeke Falls. We're looking up at the falls. They're looking up. They're taking pictures. They're enjoying, having a good time. Then I gather everybody. I'm like, all right, guys, it's been about 20 minutes over here. We'll go head back down. And so we're all gathering everybody together. And from the top of the falls now, you hear that same girl in the daytime, like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Like we heard that from the top of the falls coming down. Hey, hey you, come help me. I watch everybody in my group run all the way back to the van. Just down the trail, all the way back to the van, and just like completely freak out, right? Mark, no such thing as work. Good to see you, Mark. And so just they ran down, and I caught up with them at the van, and I'm like, bruh, first of all, you forget I get the keys. Where are you guys going? Second of all, why did you guys run? What if that was one little girl calling for help? And they're like, no, 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 no. That wasn't a little girl. Something was telling them to run. Yeah, something told them that they had to run. And so, yeah, that was my experience down at the pulley. About a little calling spirit, a little girl calling for help. And I actually, I wonder if this coincided. I can't. This may have coincided. No, no, no. There was another girl down near Pulley Road about a year or two later. Um, People had seen her where we tell stories in the tree, and they described her as maybe 8 or 9 years old, blue dress, kind of palaka, slippers on, something like that. I forget. But that same description a few weeks later at the Pulley, down the old Pulley Road, we had somebody give us the same description. Like at the Iolani Palace, we did one of those walking tours, and as we were ending the tour and driving back into Waikiki, this lady in the van and her daughter was like, "Yo, so what's the story about the little girl on the second floor?" I'm like, "Little girl?" She's like, "Yeah, there's a little girl standing up over there waving at you as you drove away." And I'm like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah, we saw her the whole time." And so I'm like, "What did she look like?" And they described her the same way that this other mom and daughter described her down the old Pulley Road not very long ago. And then come to find out there was actually a young girl that had gone missing, and her picture from the missing people's thing, I could find, and it matched her description. Even in the picture, she was wearing a palaka thing, and she was wearing blue and white shoes and stuff like that. And I'm like, it said that they thought the last known location was probably at the Pali Lookout. So I'm not sure if she had passed and she was reaching out for help or not. I didn't really follow on that. My daughter was around the same age, and I'm just like, this is too much for me. Yeah. Aloha, Maui man. How's it? This is scary stories. Yes, Pete. Tonight is about the mo'o, the lizard people of Hawaii. Right. Um, Lots of just fantastic stories. Let's see, do I have any? Yeah, I mean, I've had many encounters down here where we're sitting at. There's a little river down there. I came over here with a bunch of friends a few years ago. They rented a van and they wanted to do a ghost tour. So of course I go and tell the stories. We get down by the river in the pitch black, and we're just standing there telling stories. No more lights, nothing. And I can feel on the other side of the river something watching us. And they could feel it too, just something, these eyeballs watching us. And for me, it was like, okay, this is a mo'o. It didn't feel like a person. It felt like something that was never a person to begin with, that was never alive like a human being. But it didn't feel bad. So I invited it to come. I started speaking, hey, hele mai, come. Aoli pilikia, no problem. We're not going to harm you. We don't mean disrespect, but if you would like to come and join us, come and join us. It was a very quiet night. And at that point, when I said come and join us, you heard little splashing in the river, like somebody walking across the river, getting closer and closer and closer to our side. And so I'm like, oh, this is cool, man. Like everybody else in the group is like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, don't worry, it's good, don't worry. And it stopped right on the other side of the river, right by us. And I'm like, okay, well, you can come listen to the story. So please come, hele mai, come listen to our stories. Yeah. And it stood there a little bit. It wouldn't come any closer. It just stayed there. And then to the point where it's been about 10 minutes since I was telling stories, and I thought it left, yeah. And so we're like, okay, guys, let's go. I don't think this thing is still here. And so we started like just going back, and then all of a sudden, next to us in the dark, bah! A tree fell like feet away from us. Just this huge tree noise, just bah! Everybody jumped up. It's one of those. It's like, oh, that's scary as hell. It's been so quiet for like half an hour, 45 minutes. All of a sudden, a tree falls next to you, and I'm like, holy! I turn on the light. There's no tree. Nothing had fallen down. Nothing at all. I'm looking at that. There's nothing over there, and the people are looking at that too, and they're like, what the hell? And they're starting to like freak out, and some of them are starting to like run, and I'm like, no, 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 stop, 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 come back, come back, come back, come back. You guys wanted this to happen, yeah? That's why you guys doing Ghost Tour. Nobody got hurt, nobody got touched, nobody got scratched. I want you to do something. Yeah. I told them I want you to turn to where we heard the noise and say Mahalo. So all of them were kind of like, what? We're like, let's say Mahalo. Say thank you. And they're like, oh, Mahalo. I'm like, okay, now we leave. The trick is now, if you leave, if you run like one dog, they're going to chase you. That's how they follow you home. But whenever we have something scary happen and people want to run, I'm like, no, stop. Turn around, say thank you. I've heard that lots of times over here. People come here ghost hunting all the time, Morgan's Corner, and then they ask the spirits, can you do this? Can you make a noise? Can you do that? And then the spirits do, and I've heard people tell me the spirits get upset because they do what they're asked and nobody says thank you. No. When they make the noise that they asked for, what do? They turn around and they run away screaming. Yeah. Yeah. I had my own encounter. I was messing with a Ouija board with some people. I love the story already, bro. I started to hear whistling. No one else did. Then it was right in everyone's ear. We went running. There's more to it, of course. I don't know if I ever messed with a Ouija board. Yeah. Hey, how's it? How's it? How's it, guys?
I have.
You have.
Yeah, wasn't definitely caused repercussions later in life. Not something I would recommend playing with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Especially I was younger. I never really know.
yeah.
Like we made our own, but I think we had one person with us, and it wouldn't talk.
Huh.
And I almost want to say you know this person too. Like you brought up his name in one of your stories, and I'm thinking, but there's no way this guy's name is too unique for it to be somebody else. And the way you described him too, and I never did. I forgot to ask you about that.
Well, tell me about that later.
Yeah, yeah. But it wouldn't respond to him. So there was like me, my sister, and her friend, and then my friend. And so my sister, her friend, and I were playing, and it would respond. And then every time he would get on a planchette, and we made our own. It was like a homemade fucking board.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But every time that he jumped on, it fucking wouldn't respond, and it didn't want to talk to him. And it was because of his name and because of his bloodline and background, and it was freaking trippy, bro. But I ended up catching a lot of flack for that later on.
Yeah.
Like I got good scoldings from my family.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of the things that I was dealing with as a younger child, I think had to do with whatever had
Come on the Ouija
attached
board. Yeah.
itself. Yeah. I don't know if we closed it out properly. Like I don't remember. Like I said, we were young, we was being just stupid.
Yeah, yeah,
That was,
yeah,
it
yeah.
just- that was that's how it was back in the days.
Yeah.
And so I'm not too sure, but I got told plenty times a lot of the stuff that I was going through was because I didn't go play with the Ouija board that night. So I don't recommend that to anybody.
No, yeah, no. If you go use a Ouija board, don't.
Yeah, just don't.
Sorry, you brought up Jarrett Middle School. I've been there for work a few times, and yes, that place, yeah, definitely has a vibe. I don't really know much else about it though, but yeah, Jarrett Middle School. I've been there. Like you could feel them. The Ouija boards, yeah. I don't know if I've ever messed with one. Maybe it's a repressed memory that'll come back to me. I get some of those sometimes. Um, in my opinion, you don't use it unless you know how to protect yourself and other people. Doug, one of my friends, one of my mentors, had told me a long time ago before he passed that he wanted to use it. And I'm like, really? This guy is one of the most pono people I've met. Really genuine, nice, just nice guy. And he wanted to use a Ouija board. And that made me think about it differently. His wife was a spirit. His wife had died, right? And so the Ouija board is you invite the spirit into your body, right? You tell the spirit, use your hands to push and all of that kind of stuff, yeah? You tell them to go into your body and use your own hands to manipulate the planchette. And that's why it's so dangerous is because number one, it can attach to a physical object like the board, the planchette, or it can attach itself to you or somebody else in there as well. You don't know how to protect yourself, yeah? If I had a really, really good reason, I would consider using one, but I prefer to tell stories, not tempt fate. I got people that rely on me now. I got 3 kids, that kind of stuff. Can you get haunted from watching videos and reading about it? You sure can. There's been a lot of times where I tell some of the scarier stories, like towards the end of the month, where people have things start happening in their home. So, I mean, we usually start off with a prayer because of that reason. Night marches in Ka'u, chicken skin. Oh yeah, night marchers, Minahoni, all of that stuff. We did a night over at night marchers stories at where was it called? Mackenzie Park last week on Big Island, right by Night Marchers Trail. A lot of good stories, a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, it's not worth not worth messing with that kind, even if your kupuna's protecting you. Yeah, you need to have a damn good reason to use one, and I don't have one that's beyond curiosity. That's not a good enough reason. I believe it's a portal to evil. I used one other time trying to connect with my friend after she passed, and it wasn't her. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these spirits. You really think that if you're gonna ask for a spirit to talk to you, that the good ones are gonna, that kind of stuff, gonna come and talk to you, or it's the bad ones that want to mess with you, right? I asked a question only she would know. It responded with some scary stuff. Oh man, false responses. Yeah, to me, doing all of this, I realized that good and evil has been really put into perspective for me. We've been to places that have been evil. We've had evil around us, bad spirits, and then we're scared out. Something scares us, so we leave. Like a tree falling next to you, these noises. I'll tell you this much: it's not the bad. It's not the bad spirits that are doing that. It's the good spirits that are the ones scaring the pants off you. The bad spirits, they want you to stay. They want you to hang out. They want you to stay there longer. They want to mess with you. The good spirits are the ones that scare you to make you leave, right? Hey, Tane. Hey, everybody. Aloha. But yeah, let's continue on with the stories. One of my favorite stories, actually, I'm going to tell two of my favorite stories from Glenn Grant. I mean, the stories he collected were just so amazing. They go back generations of people that would share. This one is called The Picture Bride. This was on Mokapu Peninsula, where Kaneohe Marine Corps base is. I think the story happened kind of before the base was built, early 1900s, perhaps, something like that, right? Um, the story is called The Picture Bride, and I think it's Dr. Glenn Grant that had collected it and shared it in one of his books, but I've never really been able to find the book again. I know people have messaged me, but when I go home, I'm no longer a ghost storyteller. I'm dad. I'm fixing the toilet. I'm fixing the washing machine. I'm working. I'm making food for the kids. That kind of stuff. I don't have time for that kind of thing. That's why I like this. This is my time now. I get to come out and do what I love doing. Um, Dr. Grant had a woman call and said that her mother had a really good story, but her mother is a Japanese national and she doesn't speak much English. And so this Japanese woman, I think it was the granddaughter was the interpreter for Dr. Grant as the grandma had told the story, yeah? The grandmother was a picture bride, which meant this was back in the old Paniolo days, the old Hawaiian cowboy days, where all of that kind of stuff, right? They went, so she was bought. Chee-hoo! Bro, who was listening on Sunday? Sorry. Um, so she was bought as a bride by her husband, this Japanese guy in Hawaii at the time. So he looked over the book and he would pick her because she was pretty. So they get bought her a ticket to Hawaii and they got married and she ended up living here. So the husband, he was a paniolo, he was a fisherman, all of that stuff. So him and his friends, they jumped in their old truck and they go fishing over at the Kain.
Mokulia.
Huh?
Mokulia, yeah.
No, no, no.
No?
This was Kaneohe Marine Corps base.
Okay, okay. Sorry,
Mokapu.
wrong one. Okay.
Mokapu.
Got you,
Yeah.
got you.
That's how I remember the story anyway. It was Mokapu Peninsula. I remember,
It was by
the
the gun
base.
range, yeah?
Huh?
It was by the gun range?
I'm not even sure. It was way
Well,
before
on
it
the
was
beach,
built up.
the one I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I think that beach.
Yeah. It was way before it was built up. Bro, I've never even been on that base to the
You been?
beach.
No?
Been on that base a couple times, that's all. Because you cannot just, I don't like go over there on the Marine Corps base, walk around, you know what I mean? Take pictures. Gotta go with Jubilee, get the badge, huh?
He no more anymore. I
What?
asked him. Yeah, he no
What?
more.
Nah, he get that
No,
guy.
he's inactive. He never fucking renewed.
yeah,
He said.
yeah. No, he's so good. It's Jubal, right? Freaking stingy. Freaking. It's kidding.
He get weekend pass though.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like go
yeah, yeah.
beach and surf. Like we used to go all the time.
You know, it'd be a good idea. Maybe we can do one live from there.
Okay, one day.
Yeah, the MPs come up. Like, what you guys doing? Hawaiian stuff. Leave us alone. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Back to
Okay.
back to your story.
Small
My
kind
bad, my
distraction.
bad.
Huh?
I'm still over here interrupting. My
So,
apologies, gang.
so they go over. The guy goes fishing. All the friends they go fishing over Mokapu, right? And they go off into the distance, and they casting net, they fishing with the pole, and all of that kind of stuff. And then the wife is staying back at the little campsite, right? She made a little campfire, and she stayed back over there. She making the rice, she cooking, all of that kind of stuff. And as the sun is going down, her fire is high and up, and she's good. And then she starts to notice that they're not alone. These other fires start to appear here and there around other people. She assumes camping, no problem. So she just sees these little just lights and fires coming up around. And as the sun is going down even further, she sees this big Hawaiian man coming up from the beach. He's walking up from the beach, just kind of looking down, just walking up. I think he's carrying like one fishing net or something. And then he's walking like almost like towards her. And so she sees him and smiles because everybody in Hawaii is friendly, yeah. And so she smiles and doesn't speak much English, but she calls out, "Hey, aroha, aroha." And he looks up at her, and instead of the usual greeting and smile, he instead is just starts glaring at her. Stops what he's doing, looking at her, glaring at her like, "You don't belong here. Get out." That's the look he had given her. So she was all flustered. She's like, "Oh, rude people over here, yeah." So she started like sticking tongue, and you know what I mean, like, "Oh, this," like that kind of stuff. And he just kind of grunted, turned around, and started walking in another direction to one of the other lights. And as he starts walking away, she notices that he doesn't have any feet. And he starts walking to one of the other campsites. And as soon as he gets to that one, the light turns off. And then another light turns off. And then another light turns off until all the lights that were around her, the other campsites, had just turned off one by one. She's scared now, and she starts yelling, "Obake! Obake! Obake!" It's like ghost in Japanese. And so the husband hears, he comes running up. All the friends here, they all come running up. The husband's like over there, he has his gun and everything. He's like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Obake, Obake." And she tells him about the Hawaiian man. He's like, "No more Obake. What's the matter with you? Just one local kind of thing." She's like, "No, no, 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 no." And she points to where the lights were. And so he's like, "Nah, I go show you. Grabs his gun, grabs a lantern, starts walking off to where she had pointed where the lights were. A few minutes later, he comes back. Just his face is totally white. He's like, "We need to go." I'm like, "Why? Why? What did you find?" He's like, "That light wasn't a light. That was an old Hawaiian graveyard. That was a cemetery." And so they pack up. They're getting ready to leave, and then they realize that they're missing one of their friends. Right. So one of their friends is unaccounted for, and so they're now looking for their friend, and they find their friend on the sand, unconscious. They go to him They go to him and they grab him, and they notice that he has a greenish tinge to him, and he's burning up with a fever. He got really, really sick. And so they throw him in the truck and they drive him to the nearest hospital, where he's in a coma for a few days. After about 3 or 4 days, he wakes up from the coma and he's like, "What's going on? Where am I?" They're like, "Oh, you're in the hospital. What happened?" He's like, "Oh my God, I was trying to call for help, but nobody came." And they're like, "What? What happened?" He's like, I heard your wife yelling "Obake, Obake," so I started pulling in the fishing net. And as I was pulling in the fishing net, I caught something huge. And so I pulled it to the shore, and I realized that I had caught this young, naked Hawaiian girl. And I'm pulling the net, trying to tangle her out of the net, and he's kept apologizing, saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, so embarrassed." And this girl then comes up and just smiles at him. And he's like, "What the heck?" And she jumps on his back, and she wraps her legs around his back so tight he can't even get up. He can't like get her off, and she's like riding like a horse on his back kind of thing, and he soon falls down because of the weight. Then she crawls over him, sitting on him, and he can't move. He gets really weak. He said she sits on his legs, stands. Oh no, she's standing over him, not sitting on him, and she opens up her mouth, and her tongue comes out from her mouth at a standing position, comes all the way down. Her tongue extends 3, 4, 5 feet, starts licking his face, starts licking his stomach, as she's laughing and like has this real sinister smile. And that's the last thing he remembered. Then he passed out and got a fever, turned green, all of that stuff that happened to him. You see, the mo'o in Hawaii, they have the long tongue. They said, some people say that according to the legends and the mo'olelo, you can surf. The mo'os will sometimes surf on their tongue. It would come out 10 feet. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the story of the picture bride. The guy ended up fine, I want to say, but I don't really remember how the story ends because I haven't read it in a long time, in years. How are the comments over here? I haven't seen anything they missed over here.
I don't think that story ever did really share what happened to the guy though.
Yeah,
After that,
that was
yeah,
it.
that was the ending, huh?
The Japanese woman just kind of ended the story, and that was it, I think.
I really thought that was at Mokuleia though.
I could see that happening in Mokuleia too. For some reason, I read Mokapu, and it always stuck into my mind. That, oh, Mokapu, you mean Kaneohe Bay?
Because I mean, I don't know of a graveyard on the base.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
No. Like each of the lights were different graves.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah,
was. I
yeah.
mean, it wasn't an
Yeah,
actual
you know the story.
graveyard, but
Yeah.
like, it was gravestones. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah,
the
yeah.
Hawaiian guy ended up
Yeah.
going to, right? And it was like looked like all like campfires or something, or like a group having a party, yeah, on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading that story too. That was a good one.
Julian, my mom said she played with a Ouija. Oh, back to Ouija boards. Hermie, Hermie making creepy noises and voices from my crib. Ah, yeah, no. That's creepy. Anything that deals with babies and that kind of stuff. Aole. Aole.
Yeah, no, I kind of responded to him
Yeah.
on that.
I mean, that's cool, but not when I'm out here. Ludo, yes, Hawaii. We stay on Oahu. Brothers ever went to the original Morgan's Corner? Of course. Right down the road from where we are, yeah. Aloha from the ninth island. Nestor, how's it? Right down the road is Morgan's Corner, where Dr. James Morgan lived. We'll do a night about that too. Over here, talking about Morgan's Corner, the urban legend, the actual historical events, and things that I witnessed over here firsthand, yeah. Yeah, but Dr. Morgan lived right down on that turn over there. He had a big estate and all of that. It was the 1930s and the 1940s. Um, more stories. Huh?
Reading this guy's comment.
How come Sunday get all the trolls, bro?
I don't know. There's no work over tomorrow.
Aloha
Let's
from
see.
Makawao.
Or school.
Awesome. You know,
Up country, baby.
they went to church. They feel good, so now they're going to troll because they saved already. So now they gotta, yeah.
They need the confession. They get a whole new week for freaking.
Oh, you
Build 'em
talking?
up.
Yeah, Poly Golf Course. Yeah. You talking about Kiana Ole Aloha Road? That's a completely different one. That's the Kaneohe Morgan's Corner, and there's tons of stories there too. We used to go there on the tour. I got a few stories I'm going to be sharing maybe this week about that. I had an encounter with the half man, half dog over there that really terrified my pants off. Kaupe, the cannibal guy. Joe, that story you told wasn't that from Glenn Grant's Obake Files book? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was from the Obake Files, but I scoured that again and again, and I couldn't find it. I think it may have been in one of Glenn Grant's other books. Yeah, did you find it? I know somebody did, and they told me what book it was in.
I forget. I don't know. Maybe if it's in Rick
Yeah.
Carroll's books, I forget. I know I read this story though, but like I said, I read them all, like the Spooky Tales, um, all those books. But they're like I said, they're all on the Big Island, so I can't even go back and relook or refresh my memory on any of them. It's like frick.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see. Wow, what's going on over here? Thank you, 808. Chicken Skin Tales, 49 favorite stories. Glenn Grant had so many stories he would
Oh, okay.
collect.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna mark that down right now.
That's another one of his books. Exactly.
I was thinking about the shave ice one. The chicken skin tails 49. Yep. I think I gotta buy a new one. I haven't seen that one in a while.
I don't even know where to get books anymore.
Amazon, bro. It's the only place you can get books. Never mind the
I,
library.
I used to go like Barnes and Nobles like, all the time. You know what I mean? And they go pick out me
Brenda,
out a
was
new
it?
book. Like I
Yep.
miss those days, bro.
Barnes and Nobles, bro. Oh, how old you?
Stop, stop. I was just gonna tell you, okay. You know my story about Arakawas. Shows how old I am. I used to buy that
Yeah, you
place used
beat
to be
me.
haunted though.
Oh yeah.
You remember that sporting goods store? Arakawas?
No,
You don't remember
I don't
that
know
store?
where's Arakawa was. What was that? Kanioi, you know.
No, it was see, I can't even remember where it was. It wasn't but they
Oh,
was like
thank you,
the
Derek.
dae of Hawaiian dae of daes, you know.
Oh,
Like they
okay.
had all everything, sporting goods, they had clothing, they had fishing apparel, but they had everything. It's where we used to get all our palaka shirts, everything. Waipahu. There you go. Thank you, Uri. I used to go there when I was younger. My dad used to take me to get all my baseball
Okay.
equipment.
Derek Ching, Mahalo. He sent me the story or the book. Yeah, the link of the book. Right on. Thank you.
See. I'm not
Yep.
that old. I get plenty of people over here talking about
Waipahu.
Arakawas.
Yeah, yeah. Bro, don't get us
Thanks,
started on
guys.
food,
Thanks.
bro.
Gee.
Yeah, yeah, the thing is locked up over there. Have you ever seen Half Shark Man? I believe I did on Nanaue. That was over in Makua Cave. Yeah. I have an encounter with an 8 foot tall guy that was headless here in Happy Valley. I think that's a different one. 8 foot tall guy. Yeah, there's a bunch of those 8 foot tall guys around over there. Oh, this on Maui. Yeah. Oh, bro, we really trying to resurrect the dead. Talking about Barnes and Nobles, huh?
I was talking books, bro. Where else we used to get
Oh,
them back
we go
then?
do ghost
What was the
stories,
other
huh?
one before Barnes and Nobles?
You guys believe one day they had a store that sold something called books. Borders. Oh man.
Right, imagine trying to explain the Dewey Decimal System to freaking kids nowadays.
No, that's gonna terrify him, bro.
Bro, we had all those trays of all the cards of all the books.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I worked
Bro, no
librarian
more,
as a
no more
freshman.
Google. We get encyclopedia, bro. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah. It was yeah.
You want to learn about this? Okay, we gotta ship the book to your library. You gotta wait a week. Yeah. Oh yeah, we get more stories. We get plenty of stuff over here, bro. I mean, I.
Walden's, that's the other one. There we
Yep, yep,
go.
yep. All in books.
Walden books.
Yep.
See, I know there was another one besides Barnes and Nobles. It was something before Barnes and Nobles.
Yep.
Oh, but I'm way off topic tonight. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, don't worry.
There we go. Talking ghost stories. I'm talking old places. Out of the way.
I had a experience on the Big Island years ago with it wasn't really a big experience, but it was enough where I remembered it. I don't think I was doing the ghost tours at this time. Oh, mahalo for the hey, sweet savage. How's it? Mahalo. um, we was over Kohala Coast, north of Mahukona. I guess that's. I just remember that name, Mahukona, as we drove by.
Mm.
It was the kind we go on vacation. My uncle had land from Bishop Estate where they took care of him. Had one Holua slide, this one locked gate, and I remember everything we packed in, we packed out and more. The cousins, the young nephew cousins came over to go fish. They would cook the fish. We would eat them. We had to take the bones out, that kind of stuff. It was real good. We went up there with a cooler, one of those big coolers. We filled them up with beer, and that was the whole weekend kind. No more tents, no more overhead. We just we had a outhouse for the bathroom, and we had beach chairs to sleep on. When the sun goes down, it gets dark, you go bed. When the sun rises, you wake up, you good. You begin your day at like 5 or 6, whatever the sun rises. Um, and you just drinking all day. Coors Light, you know what I mean? That kind of light beer. Um, we were over there, and the first night I was trying to sleep, and the moon was up. And I remember as we are trying to sleep, get me, my dad, my brother, my cousin, we all like my other uncle, we all stay on top of the thing. They all snoring already. They don't drink too much, maybe. But I kept seeing a lady, maybe 20, 30 yards away, hiding in the rocks, peeking out, looking, running to the other side, peeking out, looking, just watching us, just this lady. And all night, this lady just kept walking around, looking at us. I couldn't sleep. And I think I pretty went to sleep a few hours later when I stopped seeing her. But that was one of the mo'o experiences. And then I told my uncle about that in the morning, and he's like, "Oh wow, you saw her?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I saw her." And he's like, "Oh, we've had people come by and said that, that there's a spirit over here of a lady." And I'm like, "It's a mo'o." It just kind of, it was just checking us out. It wasn't bad, nothing like that, but it was just checking us out. Back to the one over here. We had gone over here in the daytime. I showed my cousin. I talked about her last night. 16-year-old. She was very psychic. She's awesome. Um, so I took her and her mom, my auntie over here, and we was walking around. I was telling them some of the stories that had happened and all that. And as we're standing over by where the rivers merge, um, a bird flew up to us and landed like right next to us on a branch and started chirping to get our attention. Looked at us, and then flew about 5 feet away, landed on another branch, turned around, looked at us again, kept chirping, was waiting for us to come over there. My cousin's like, I think that bird wants us to follow it. So we followed it, and the bird jumped from branch to branch, chirping, and would wait for us to come to it, and then it would go 5, 10 feet away to the next branch and wait for us, and it led us to a little place all the way down the river, where there's a little rock island. There's a little island in the middle of the river. And then as soon as we got there, the bird flew away. And my cousin looks and she's like, "Oh wow, this is what it was taking us to meet. It wanted us to meet her." I'm like, "Her?" My cousin's like, "Yeah, there's a mo'owahine right on top of that island, and this is where she lives. And she says she's seen you down here a lot, and she wanted to properly meet." And so it was really cool. Me, I don't see, but I could feel the eyeballs. It was daytime, and so I introduced myself and I did protocol and I thanked her for allowing us down over here before. And that's the mo'o that's down here that I had met that one time. It was really cool. It was really cool meeting them. Then we went on to this place down where I've been to before called Kunawai. Oh, that would have been a good place to go. The back of Kunawai, where there's that little tiny pond that nobody takes care of. That
Is
one
that
we
one
found.
that you went to that last time to
Yeah,
Tamo also?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in a residential area. It's on Kunawai Lane. It's a little pond that's been kind of cemented around and all that. We went over there because they have a plaque and it talks about the mo'o over there, the supernatural mo'o protectors and all of that, and it's a healing and all of that. Oh, no problem. I'm not sure what happened. That pond all dried up. Yeah, is it?
Did it?
I
Oh
haven't been there
no.
for I haven't been there for a few months, but last time I went there it was all good. Um, So that like I went there with my cousin that same day. We went everywhere. We just went around, and she was like, "Wow, they're all over here. They're all sunbathing. If you look at that pond, you have rocks that are built into the stuff and all around." And she said each one of the rocks is a mo'o. There's at least a dozen of these mo'o. She said they're all sunbathing. That's when she started describing their lizard. They're these lizards and these humanoid lizards. Why did it just get darker all of a sudden? I don't know. Um,
I don't know. I'm all in the chat. Sorry.
no, 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 no.
never,
Just
I never noticed.
I just noticed that it just got darker all of a sudden. No lights went off. They're still on me. Whatever. Um, she explained that their tails would like loop around at the tip, or go around their shoulder, or go around their waist, and every mo'o was different. But them, they just cruising. They're just sunbathing. They're just having fun. They're just doing their thing. And some of them would have tattoos, and some of them would have piercings and all of that. Oh yeah, I gotta share this story. In fact, oh man, I hope I get him on this because I went back to this place when I was on Big Island. Yeah, I get them. This was 2 years ago. I went up with. I went up big. No, this was last year. I went up with Uy. Wasn't October time. It was August, I think. We went up with Uilani. Is one of this on the chat over here, from Big Island. We went to Boiling Pots, and I was telling the story on the live of Boiling Pots. Yeah, you ever been to Rainbow Falls or Boiling Pots? The story is basically there's a mo'o, like a mo'o king up there. His name is Kuna, and he's not a very good one. He at Rainbow Falls. Let me show you guys a picture of Rainbow Falls. So here's a picture of Rainbow Falls. Here, TikTok. There's a cave, right? It's a big, big, big place. So the legend goes that Hina was in the cave, and that's where she lived, and she was pounding her kappa, and she was getting pounding her, all of that stuff, and doing her thing. But Kuna kept harassing her, and so what he did, this mo'o, was to harass her. He threw these big rocks down and blocked up the river down there, so the water would rise and it would flood Hina. Hina then calls to her son Maui on the island of Maui up on Haleakala, and Maui hears her call, jumps into his canoe, paddles up the river to Rainbow Falls, sees the big block over there and removes it, just gets rid of the stone, throws it, and Kuna sees Maui coming, runs up the river, starts hiding in the little pools and hiding from him at a place called Boiling Pots. And Maui goes all the way up to Boiling Pots, and Maui asks Madame Pele for some help to flush him out. So Madame Pele throws these lava rocks into Boiling Pots where the water starts to boil, hence its name, and scare Kuna out. And they do battle, and Maui ends up kicking his butt. And it's said that all the way down from Rainbow Falls is where Kuna's body lie, right? And you could see his body, that kind of thing. So I went over there, was sharing that story. My same cousin, she had told me a while ago that her dad, I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that the dad had taken wood from the Big Island and brought it home on Oahu. I think it was like Keawe wood or something for smoked meat. And it wasn't really legit. He kind of like threw it behind the garbage can, and then after work went and picked it up, kind of thing. And as he brought home the wood, she says, and she was young when this had happened, like 8, 9, or 10, that there was a spirit attached to the wood, and the spirit called himself Kuna, and he was a big mo'o. She said he didn't look like any mo'o she had ever seen. He was large, he was powerful, he had tattoos and piercings all over him, and he had an air about him where he was superior to everybody. And he was the boss, and he was cocky, and he was all of this kind of stuff. And he basically told her, she was in the back seat of the car, and she was being driven somewhere. And he came back there and he told her to worship him, right? And she just kind of laughed at him, called her guardians, and these big Hawaiian men filled the car and beat the crap out of him, and he ran. Um, Last August, when I went up with Uilani to Boiling Pots, we shared that story, and he appeared. I was up there just a few days ago, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and I went up to the same spot that we had seen him, and I even did a little recording for reference. About halfway of those signs, at 6 feet, halfway. Yeah. So I come up to about halfway of those signs, at 6 feet, halfway between the bottom of the sign and the ground. And the head was right about up here, right under that big bush. Yeah. Wow. Kuna is very arrogant. That's a great word for him. This guy, like, as I said, I'll show you a picture. The picture is a lot better. Um, these signs, in reference, I'm 6 feet tall, and if I stand up, I come up to about here, halfway up the sign. That's 6 feet. This guy was above the top. above the top of this thing over here. Um, we went over there. We were just telling stories, and there was this big presence, figure, shadow, with these red eyes. It was red eyes, yeah, we. And it was just standing over there, like seething and mad because I was telling his stories that he's not a good guy, and so I'm not making him look bad. He's making him look bad, but I'm just telling his stories. You could see those leaves moving as he walked through, yeah, that jungle towards us. And my Hawaiian blood, me, I'm not afraid. Well, you cannot be afraid when you do this kind of stuff. You know, fear is something that if I need to leave, I'll leave. But yeah, I get a kick out of it because like every now and then my Hawaiian blood starts boiling. Yeah, this guy wanted to scrap. This guy wanted to fight. And I'm like, oh, bro. I get the Hawaiian blood flowing, bro. I'm like, oh, this fricka. This fricka, like, throw down, bro. Calm, you fucker. Calm. Let's go. I'm like, one of my guardians is a Michael the Archangel. I'm like, this guy, he ain't nothing compared to Michael the Archangel. You like, do something. Calm. Plus, if you wanted to do something, he would have done something already, right? You're not going to just stand over there and puff his chest and try to scare me. That's all you're trying to do. A lot of them try to do that, right? They don't like, they cannot do nothing. So they go try to look all big, yeah? And I'm like, the Ui's over there, like, she's like, we need to go. Her guardians are like, no, we need to go, Joe. You can't fight him, kind of thing. And she's like, we need to just leave. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not gonna do that. But this guy was just, yeah, like you said, arrogant, and it just kind of pissed me off. And I'm like, oh, this fricka like scrapper. How's this guy, you know? And I'm like, nah. We go turn around, we go walk away. I turn around, my Ovilus, the random word generator, comes up, says, scared. I'm like, oh, this fricka. I turn around, start walking back. I'm like, nah. You know? I'm like, this fricka telling me I'm scared. And then we go back. We go sit down on the table. I go make my blood a little bit, calm down a little bit, you know, calm my heart rate down. And then I stand up. I'm like, okay, we go walk away. And then the random word generator, chicken. I'm like, fuck, oh, cuz this guy, bruh, this guy taunting me. I was so, like just amped and wired from that. That was so cool. Yeah, the Wahine Mo'o came forward. He did bother me, and he was very intent on you. Yeah, the Wahine Mo'o was the one that was telling me not to. Yeah, he put off so much heat, could feel it on our faces. I thought that was just the blood rushing to my face, brah. That was, yeah, that was. I got home and I'm just tripping out, and I'm like, I went back home. I woke up my son, my daughter. Oh, bro, never guess what happened today, bro. I was all still amped, you know, like that was something. But then we went Rainbow Falls after. The frickin' never like follow us Rainbow Falls, huh? Yeah, they called me a chicken as they're walking away. Wow, that was so awesome. I really enjoyed that. You could, you know, this just stupid stuff, bro. You know. And that's why, Uwe, I'm so glad you were there, so I know I'm not going crazy and belong in the mental hospital. And it was on the live too, which is why I'm glad that other people witness this too, not just me. You know. Let's see what other more stories I get. I like read what Sean is saying over here.
We still going off about the stadium, Castle Park,
Oh, okay.
and all the like. I guess Sean used to work security over
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah, for Whacking Hut.
What Japanese goes?
Yeah, he said. Well, I was telling him get the graveyard across by the stadium mall side, and then I was saying that Castle Park might have a fucking some plane involved in any paranormal activity at the stadium too. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was sharing that. I guess his boss was fucking telling him stories, and I think he it was about a ticket office and fucking heard voices. You gotta read them. It's good his comments. Good what he's
I
sharing.
know. Oh, thank you, Pro City High School. Yes,
Oh,
and then we'll end on one. Thank you, JP. Then we'll end on it.
let's not forget about that, huh?
Yeah, I cannot just dedicate one night to it because that's not like it's not a full hour long kind of subject, and it's also, you know, I don't like the school is known to be haunted. Put it that way. I don't even make them more haunted. You know, I don't like people go over there, go ghost hunting and that kind of stuff, and end up causing all kind of pilikia. Where am I? Here's my old pictures and all of this. This was August of last year. No, it was 2 years ago.
I'm not too sure if there's much schools that aren't haunted. Yeah,
Yep,
you hear so many stories about
yep,
all these different schools. Yeah,
yep.
they all had something.
Okay, I think this is the year. Um, oh, just some pictures. This is the mo'o, the very first mo'o, Hauvahine. This is at a sketch of her. She is at Kavainui Marsh, the very first mo'o born from Haumea. Then this was the picture of the battle between Maui and Kuna. That's at the lookout, yeah. Yes, Pearl City High School was something else at night. I'm looking at all my pictures. I'm like, okay, ghost, ghost, ghost. Daughter's band recital, ghost, ghost, ghost. Going to the pumpkin farm. They're like, brah, wait.
Yeah, but even when Obake was walking around by himself at Pro City High
Yeah,
School, and he went around, I think it was like the band room or something. But he caught an EVP too, as he's walking around on the backside of it.
yeah.
He's on the far end of you guys, like, and I heard it too while he was walking around. Like I heard the voice. Like, oh no, here we go again. Like, oh shit,
Yeah.
ever hearing that?
I got pictures of it, but not the recording. Go look Hawaiian huntings real fast. I know get them in the Hawaiian huntings. Too bad I cannot search. I know on my profile get plenty, but
Was it Guy or Mace that had the Inugami stories?
guy,
Guy.
guy, yeah.
Okay, because Alucard is asking about if you get stories of Kappa or Inugami
Oh,
or
thank you.
Manoa Falls. So I was thinking that I don't know, maybe we let her know that
Stories about
McCall,
Kappa or Inugami or anything about the eyes over by Manoa
Guy might be
Falls.
able to share.
I'm not sure about the eyes by Manoa Falls, but I forgot one of the things that I talk about as well is that how it's so similar. Like the mo'o in Hawaii is very very similar to the kappa in Japan and the mermaids and all of that stuff. And there we go, found them. I said stop. Stop. Okay. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I'm not too sure about the other ones, but yeah, it's fascinating that all these cultures have all the same kind of things, all the same kind of legends, and they behave the same, but they have subtle differences, right? Waiana High School is haunted. Oh yeah, we go in big account over there. Maui High School, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Neo, aloha. How's it, brother? Good to see you. Okay, so, Tina, thank you for all the likes, dear Lord. Um, we went Pro City High School. I didn't do live from it because it. I don't know. I just don't like to do videos and stuff from schools. Probably because at my job, I'm actually in charge of keeping schools safe. This is not one of them though, but it's a conflict of interest. So I tagged along and I was just there to witness. We had gone KLM building. There was a girl. The story is there was a girl who unalived herself. Um, and people still hear her from the third floor jumping off and you know make, and then she make again and again, and people can still hear her scream and all of that. And so we went over there and we went by the stairwell supposedly where she was, and we could feel this really funky energy. Also, to tell you too is a little bit about it is right above Pro City High School is a mental health facility called Waimono Home for the Feeble-Minded. It's been closed for a long time. Hey, Demonica, how's it? It's been closed for a long time, decades and decades, and lots of bad things happen over there. Like, not very pono things, put it that way. Um, yeah. There's a lot of spirits, there's a lot of ghosts, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of unrest and all of that, right? So, it's just... ugh. That bleeds over into Pearl City High School, and I feel that that's the case. Anyway, We started to walk down by the band room because we heard the band room was haunted too. And I'm in the front with my friend Mace, and I'm carrying his speaker of the spirit box. And as we're walking down, there's it's a whole lot of things into it. There's a lizard that fell down in front of us that was fat. It looked like it was pregnant, and it just like committed suicide. Just dropped from the roof, landed right at my feet, right in front of us. And then seconds after that, you heard a girl on the spirit box come across. Hi, how are you? You know, like that. Hi, and she started talking to us on that. Me and Mace were like, oh wow. We started asking back questions back, and this little girl's talking to us, like And then all of a sudden, the little girl was booted. Like something came over and pushed her away, and it was a guy, and it did not want her to talk. It was bad. It was like, no, you're done. No talking, right? Waimano Home for the Feeble-Minded is closed. Hey, right on it, Tina. Mahalo. We were standing over there at the band room, and I start to feel the same kind of thing, like challenged. I like when a leaf just falls directly onto my hands. um, I start to feel like this thing was like there's a bad spirit over there, and it's taunting, and it wanted us to leave because we were doing good over there. We were helping the spirits. We were helping the ones that needed to cross over, and the thing that was keeping it there did not want them to cross over, and so it was trying to get us to go. Um, Lights started flashing. I got that on recording too. The little lights just started like flickering and all that, and it just and then like I started getting like angry, like really like angry. Like it started bothering me. This thing, I don't like these bad things. These bad things that once you finally catch on to what they're doing, once you finally catch on to what they're about, they puff up their chest and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you now. I'm gonna get you. You guys better leave now, or you're gonna get hurt," kind of thing. Trying to get us to go away there so we couldn't do our good things. We couldn't help them. And so I'm like, no, no, no. They were like, okay, maybe we should go somewhere else and walk. And I'm like, no, 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 no. This thing wants us to leave. Let's stay here. We're staying here because something wants us to get out of here. And it's one of the bad ones that wants us to get out of here. And so then we hear this, all right? Then we hear a scream coming from KLM building. And of course, that was leading us to away from the band room. And so as soon as we heard the scream, we all wanted to go run and investigate it, right? And see where that scream came from and all of that. And I'm like, oh, this Fricta, this is the same thing. This is it, another way of it trying to get us to leave, right? Um, so we did get the scream on a recording. And yeah, just a lot of stuff happened that night. I wasn't very happy. You heard that? We'll do them again. Hanaho. Hey, my man Obake. Yeah, he was here present with me with this. I shared that on Facebook, and I've heard and people commented on that. They're like, "Oh, I used to go to that school, or I used to work at that school, and that's the exact same scream that they had heard." Now, yeah, there's so much what ifs, so much things over there, but there's something that wasn't very good up there. Oh man, is that the Himalayan scream? No, that's the Pro City High School scream. Hey, Hiccups, how's it? Good to see ya.
I know. I'm trying to tell it. Typing it. Like, no, that's not a Himalayan scream.
Wouldn't that be like a yodel? Adonis, how's it? I went to that school and used to hang out at KLM. You ever heard anything like that? Because I've heard people that told me that they've been there early in the morning and they've heard that and that exact same scream, so I don't know. I don't think, actually, I did go back there another time, but when I went back there, everything, all of my senses were blocked. I couldn't see anything, feel anything, hear anything. It was completely, every sense I had was gone. Yeah.
What was trippy too, though, is when you guys were at the KLM building and
Mm.
you guys were in the stairwell.
Yeah.
but the reception was just so bad.
It was
Like it was,
bad. That energy
like
was
it just wouldn't,
funky,
it
bro.
wouldn't show a clear picture. It would cut in and out. It was, and it like when you guys left that area, just the life was fine. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It was
yeah.
just good, but just while you guys were in that area, there was it was just kind of
Oh,
interference. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. Nothing beats the scream. I never heard screams. I used to hang out there, but I did feel the energy. No, this is Pearl City High School. Yeah, I've never heard it, but I did hear about the girl that yeah unalived herself. Oh wow, yeah. Oof. Oh, that was crazy. Yeah. So yeah, that was Pearl City High School. I will end my last story because it's been an hour and a half, and I have to work tomorrow. One of my favorite stories of all time by Glenn Grant about the mall. Yeah. Um, this one I went Kamehameha, and going Kamehameha every Halloween you get the teachers they share their favorite stories. Yeah, and I would go and like three different teachers, two different teachers every year would share this story, the same story. Yeah. Ooh, Aztec Death Whistle, Alucard. That is yeah, that does sound like it. Obake and Joe and Bubba tonight. He was at Pine Lawn again. Oh wow, very cool. Sound like Huakai Po. Could be, but ugh, I don't know. So much
Bubba got pushed again.
Bubba got pushed again. Ay yeah.
Remember I was telling you
No,
too. He
no,
was
no
on
worry,
that.
no worry.
I think it was that one trail, the SW trail,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then fucking I saw him get pushed on that live too, like almost down the hill kind. He went. I think he hurt his ankle or something.
Mm.
It's kind of nuts. Yeah, like it just
I
out
hope
of
he's
nowhere,
all
like
right. You
boom, he went
gotta.
rolling
Does
in
he
front
like
of the
getting?
camera. Like
Does
what
he
the
like
fuck?
getting pushed? Because I've been doing this for a long time and nothing would push me yet.
I don't know, man.
I'm like,
I've been touched a lot, so
yeah, you've been
I
touched a
can't
lot. You know, it's
I
like if
can't
they
speak
touch
it.
me, I say I charge extra for that, bro. You know what I mean?
I can't say anything about it. You know, I'm glad I'm not pushed, but yeah, the touching is enough already. Hello,
Yeah.
you playing with me?
Um, I'm not too sure. Nine. I'm not sure what symbol that is. What are some superstitions that involve geckos? I just leave them alone. They're really good luck because they eat all the flies in your house. Yeah. So
Well, they're the bug eaters.
yeah, they eat all the bugs. They always welcome in my house. So yeah, one of my favorite stories. I'm not gonna look at chat for a while while I'm telling this story, but then I'll try to catch up on it after. Um, see if I can do this justice or try to. So Dr. Grant collected the story in the 70s from a retired police officer, and the story had happened in the 1950s. It involves Waimea Valley on the island of Oahu. So Waimea Valley up on the North Shore in Waimea, of course, right? And so there were these I want to say three, but it may have been four or five. There were these guys. They were from the mainland. They were, I think, merchant mariners from Seattle or something. And you go over Waimea, you can go hike up over there. Not really a hike; it's like a walk. They get one concrete sidewalk now, and you can go swimming in the falls and the pond. And at this time in the 50s, people would go there and they would go jump off the falls and have fun, right? So one of their friends went up over there and they're having fun jumping off and that kind of stuff. So one of their friends though went up to the top of the falls, not that high up, but as he jumped, he slipped and he hit his head on the way down. And so as he plunges into the water, his friends jumped in to rescue him and to see him, right? And so they're swimming. They go to the pond and they start trying to get him. And his body, their friend's body, comes right up to the top, floating. And then when they get close to him, something like it looked to them like something had grabbed him by his shorts and pulled him under the water. And he didn't come back up again. And so they called for help. They called the police officer that responded. He was the one that's telling the story, right? The officer, or maybe he was a fire. No, he was an officer. The firefighters came too. They had the rescue and all of that stuff. And now it's kind of not really uncommon for that to happen up there. It had happened a few times before. He told Glenn Grant, he's like, but the strangest thing is people would go missing. They'd go under the water and they wouldn't be able to recover body. they wouldn't be able to find them. And they would search and they would search and they would search 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and nobody would find the body until 3, 4, 5 days later, the body would float up mysteriously where they've been searching the whole time. And so, yeah. So he went up there, and it was already late afternoon when they got up there. They were losing sunlight. He didn't have high hopes of finding the boy that had disappeared below the water surface. And so he did what he could, and then when it started getting dark, he told the boys, he's like, we gotta call the search off. We're gonna have to find your friend tomorrow. It's too dark already. We still gotta walk out of the valley. And he offered the boys a place to stay. He's like, I live right down the road at Haleiwa. You guys are welcome to come over my house and sleep at my house tonight, and we can begin the search fresh in the morning. The boys declined the offer and said, no, thank you. We're gonna sleep over here in case our friend's body comes up. We don't want him to be eaten by any wild animals or anything like that. And so he's like, okay, that's fine. They sleep over. They spend the night. And the officer the next morning, as the sun is rising, him and his team, they're walking up the valley, go over to the pond, and they see these three guys, or, yeah, the three guys. So there were four of them. He sees the three guys running down the valley, running down the path towards him. And he's like, his description of them to Glenn Grant was, they were white yesterday, but today they were so white they looked like shark bait. And so these guys were scared. They had not slept. They had hit up a tree all night. And so he finally, like, he takes him back to his car, tells him to go sit down in the car and rest, you know what I mean? And was like, what happened? And they explained that that night they were sleeping right next to the water's edge, little bit light by the stars. Not, I couldn't really see anything. It was dark. And maybe about 9, 10 o'clock at night, as they were just getting to sleep, they heard on the other side of the pond a little splashing noise, like something walking out of the pond. And then they heard it actually walking out of the pond onto the land, onto the into the grass on the opposite side. And they heard this thing walking slowly and trying to walk quietly, walking around the pond towards them, in the grass, in the bushes, cracking branches. And then it comes right behind where they're camping on the side of the pond, and it jumps over their head and lets out this inhuman scream and lands with a splash back in the water. The boys are freaking out. They have no idea what the heck this is. And so they're listening. They're all paranoid again. And then a few minutes later, they hear the same thing. It comes walking out of the pond on the opposite side, comes walking back around, jumps over their head, right behind them, and lets out this scream. The boys said the scream sounded like a person that was having their skin ripped off their back. That's what the scream sounded like. And at that point, they ran. They ran all the way down the valley, and they climbed up a tree because they were just terrified of whatever this thing may have been. And they even imitated the sound that they had heard. And the officer who had lived there his entire life said he had never heard anything like that. You know, and the guys all agreed that this was the noise that they had heard. So he has them resting in the car down on the bottom, and him and his team, they go up. They have these long poles with hooks at the end, and they're gonna go ahead and hook the pond and scour the bottom, and drag the hook along the bottom, hopefully to catch something, right? And fresh water, right? It's murky, right? It's brown, it's green, it's murky. You can't really see too well. Um, and as he said, there's been a lot of people that have gone missing. He would be there during times of drought where the water level is all the way down, and he would be exploring, looking, because, as I said, people's bodies would just go missing for days and days and days and days, and then come floating up right where they've been searching. So he looked for underground ledges, underwater places for the body to hide, that kind of thing, and then come back out. Couldn't find any. So as they get out to the pond that day, him and the team that are going to go rescue, they notice that the waterfall has stopped. There hadn't been any water coming off the waterfall. It's been a drought. There's been no rain, no nothing. And the water is crystal clear. It's smooth. It looks like a mirror. It looks like a reflection. There's not a single ripple. There's no wind, nothing. It's just ice, glass. They can see every rock on the bottom of the pond. And now they're hopeful that if the boy is down there, they're going to get it. like the other week down over here, yeah, at this waterfall. How it was crystal clear. Wow, that was crazy. But anyway, so they start going and they start looking, not even moving. They start scraping the rocks, whatever they could see, and they look and they look and they look and they don't see anything. They don't see the body. They don't see the boy. The officer walks around to the top where the boy jumped off of at the falls, and he looks down. And maybe it was that angle that he was at, but he could see a splash of color on the bottom of the pond. And so he looks, and as he's looking at the splash of color, he notices its shorts, and then he sees a leg, and then he sees a foot, and then he sees a torso, an arm, and a head, and he notices that there's the boy's body lying down on what looked like a flat rock, almost like an altar on the bottom of the pond in Waimea. Just perfectly still, arms at the side, um, almost like he was being used as an offering. He tells the guys where to drag the hooks. They don't see him. They don't see the guy, nothing. And then finally he's like, just go over there. You see that flat rock over there? He's calling down. Go, drag your pole over there. I see the boy's body. I don't know why you guys cannot see him. But then they drag their hooks over that rock, that flat rock, and they hook his leg. And then the body appears to them. And they're pulling with hooks now the body, trying to pull him back up to the surface so they can put him in the body bag and transport him out of there. And as they start pulling on the pole and the hook, something starts pulling against them, like a tug of war, starts pulling him back into the pond. And so now they're all pulling as hard as they can against something unseen. And as they're pulling, the guy is still standing at the top of the waterfall looking down, and he notices that the water is no longer calm. The water starts, a whirlpool starts to form. The water starts to slosh and go up and go down. And the water, it's like a washing machine where everything is going everywhere. And it's become a huge whirlpool. And in the middle of the whirlpool, he sees this dark shape every now and then appear in the whirlpool. And they're pulling the guy's body out. And as the guy's body finally comes out of the water and they succeed in their endeavor, out right where the body came out was a water spring that sprung up 3, 4, 5 feet in the air. It just kept shooting up. So the water was so unstable, he yelled at them, get out of the valley right now. And as they ran out of the valley, all of them, they threw him in the body bag and they carried him out, and they were chased out of the back of the valley by a tidal wave that went from the back of the valley out to the ocean, about 9 or 10 feet tall, I want to say. As they ran from this tidal wave coming from the back of the mountain. And he's telling Glenn Grant, he's like, I have no explanation. I have no idea, nothing at all for what happened. I went to Manoa, the college, and asked them how this could happen. They have no idea. There was no seismic activity. There was no flash floods. There had been a drought. There was nothing that would have explained this. He said it wasn't until years later when I went back up over there, and at the falls, after he had retired, he saw this old Hawaiian man, this kahuna, this Hawaiian priest, and he's sitting at the edge of the falls, and he approaches the kahuna, and he's like, maybe if anybody knows something about it, this guy would. And so he explained to the kahuna things that would happen and all of that, and the kahuna is just listening and listening, and then he explained to him the story of what happened to that boy that one time, and the kahuna just listens, nods his head, and tells him, okay, yeah, that makes sense. He's like, how does that make sense? He's like, easy. In the waters over here in Waimea, there's a mo'o. There's a mo'o god. There's a mo'o spirit. This mo'o god, unlike many of the other ones, had been known for taking human sacrifice. Had been known for it wouldn't kill the individual, but it would accept them should they be thrown into their waters when they had already make, as the boy had hit his head on his way down. It doesn't end their life, but it will accept them as an offering if its life was ended already. He said what had happened was the ceremony for that requires several days to clean the body of all of its contaminants. The body is all pilau, it's all dirty, right? So it has to sit at the bottom of the pond and let all the water wash over it until the body is good. And then when it's done, the body will come floating back up. And it's no longer has use for the body. He said what happened was you took the body before the ceremony could be completed. And so the water became dirty because they couldn't clean it. And the mo'o had to empty the pond out of all that dirty water and replace it with all the fresh water from the water springs and all of that stuff. Big Kavik, Mahalo, good to see you. And so maybe it was that. I'm not gonna. Somebody else will get that. Um, Something else interesting as well is that right on top of the waterfall over at Waimea, over toward Sharks Cove side, there's a heiau, an ancient Hawaiian temple known as Pu'u o Mahuka Heiau. Pu'u o Mahuka Heiau, for a brief time in history, was used for luakini, human sacrifice. I believe that's when Kamehameha conquered the island and he was still paying his debts to the god of war. But Pu'uomahuka was a place, the only place in Hawaii where foreigners were sacrificed. And the foreigners that were sacrificed they were European, they were military, they were part of a military expedition. They had come to the shores and they had used the sacred pond or the sacred waters to refill their water supply. The warriors caught them, dragged them up there, and killed them on the altar because it was kapu to take the ali'i or the sacred water from the pond. Of course, this was never a law that the foreigners were supposed to be held to, right? And so they got in trouble and they might have died from it because foreigners didn't know the old Hawaiian ways, and so they were never expected to follow the laws of the old Hawaiian ways. Regardless, everybody that Glenn Grant made this comparison, everybody that had died in the falls were between the ages of the men that were sacrificed. And everybody that died at the falls, that their bodies came up days later, were also a part of some kind of military expedition or some kind of military branch. And so perhaps there was something to do with the heiau up there, right? There was another part to that story. Well, not that story per se, but, and I know I shared this one recently, but it kind of goes into this, yeah. Demonica, don't even worry about it. This has been a very high night for trolls, and our moderators have been having a lot of fun. You guys are doing great, yeah. And so, this story involves my sister. I don't know if I shared this story this month already, did I? I might have, yeah.
What story? Okay.
The cruise ship, the mo'o, boiling pots. I might have. I'll share it again. Because I usually share this at the end of the story. So my sister used to work on the cruise ship, and one day she called me up, and I was doing the ghost tours during then, and so she called me up because one of the people on the ship had gone missing in the waters of boiling pots. That place up on Wailuku River, right? That I had spoke about a little earlier. So there were a bunch of them. One of her crewmates, right? There were a bunch of them. They had a day off. They go up over there and they went swimming in this place called Boiling Pots. It's really cool, by the way. It looks like it's a cool place. You shouldn't swim in Boiling Pots. There's underground currents. There's lava tubes, and it said that the currents will pull you into the lava tubes and all of that. Well, there are a bunch of them. They're all coming out of the water one by one, and that one guy he pulls himself up, turns around to grab his friend and help him up, and the friend was gone and was never seen again. My sister caught wind of this and called me up, and she's like, "Joe, this happened. Somebody in Wailuku River at Boiling Pots, they disappeared." She's like, "Just like that story, you know, they can't find his body." And I'm like, "You think it's the same thing?" She's like, "I don't know." She's like, "But this isn't supposed to happen anymore. This was a long time ago." Oh, by the way, the cop in that story, he pulls out his police report and shows it to Dr. Grant. Yeah. An actual police report that he had documented on the day that all of those events went down. Anyway, so my sister is telling me it's not supposed to happen anymore, but she has this feeling that it's still happening again. So I tell her, okay, let me think about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm using the bathroom. I have one book with legends and lore by the in the bathroom, so I open up the book to a random page, and the legend that I open up to is a legend of Kuna, the mo'o of Wailuku River at Boiling Pots, and I'm like, no way, no way. Of all the legends that I open up to, it's that one over there about the mo'o over there, the king mo'o over there. And so I call up my friend who's a kahuna, and she actually lives on the Big Island. Oh, thank you. Mahalo. She, and I always like this. I would like saying this too, because it's like, kahunas are all mysterious, yeah. So I call her up, and she's like, hi, Joe. I know it was you. I know you were going to call me. And I'm like, yeah, because you get caller ID. I'm thinking, that all mysterious like that. I'm like, and she's like, I know why you're calling me. You're calling me because that boy that went drowned there today, up at Boiling Pots, up at Wailuku River. I'm like, how'd you know? She's like, Joe, I know. Don't worry, I know. She's like, what you think happened, happened. And I'm like, really? She's like, yep. I'm like, remember what my sister said? But that stuff doesn't happen anymore. She's like, it happens more than you think, Joe. But, you know, it doesn't happen to the locals because the locals know better than to swim in a river called Wailuku, Deadly Waters. They learn that kind of stuff. They learn to respect. They learn to respect by staying away, right? And so I took this knowledge, and she said only when a foreigner comes over here and they drown, then it's on the news. But when local people drown, it's not on the news because sometimes there are kids that go missing, and the same thing kind of happened, right? So the funny part was I was tutoring a student over in Kailua, and they always love the ghost stories. I was still doing the ghost tour by night and a tutor by day, and so I talked to the mom. The mom was from Big Island too, and so she was like, "Oh, you heard about that guy over at Boiling Pots?" I'm like, "Yeah." She shows me the newspaper article. I'm like, "How'd you hear about him?" She's like, "Right here." The newspaper article said they rescued him, and I'm like, "Oh, they rescued him." Oh, okay. The last I heard, they couldn't find him. It said they rescued him. They medevaced him over to the Hilo hospital, where he died in the hospital. And I'm like, okay, why would they medevac him down the road? you know. But I'm like, all right, so he died in the hospital. And then the next day I go to tutor. She shows me another article in the paper saying that he died in the medevac. And I'm like, but that's not what they said yesterday. She's like, nope. And then the next day I get in the newspaper. She shows me again that they had finally recovered their body, his body, from Boiling Pots 3 days after he died. And I'm like, what the heck is going on over here? It's just kind of strange. And I remember me and her, we talked about it, and it's like, this is really, really weird. So when people go swimming in fresh water and stuff, I always tell them, don't go shishi in the water. You're gonna go shishi in the bush. You go before. If you have to, you say, e kalamai, excuse me. E kalamai ia'ua. I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. Wow, 2 hours of mo'o stories, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, unreal. Discover up the story. Yeah. But thank you guys for all the support, all the likes, all the sharings. I think tomorrow, I don't know, we'll see. I'm trying to get some guests on and try to figure some stuff out as well. But yeah.
All right. I hope you share some stories if need be.
Huh?
I hope you share some stories if need be.
Yeah.
That's why I kept the H3 stories. Figure.
Huh? You
That's
get
why I
H
kept
three
the
story.
H3 stories. I'll put them in reserve. So
All right, all
whenever
right.
you get that brain fart moment, or
All right, yeah.
you stay kind of stuck for a moment, I can fill in.
Yeah, well,
But I figure I might as well save them now.
yeah, yeah. That cappuccino did its job. Adina, you're awesome. Thank you. That's awesome.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Uri, for confirming that. Is Joe not catching it?
One is
Only
mo'o.
me.
Yeah, when his mo'o mat came out at this story Joe telling. Yeah, I'm focusing right now. I'm trying not to look at one phone or the other phone. I'm looking right in between.
Yeah, no.
Just
Somebody was walking around in this bush earlier.
oh, for real.
Yeah, and then while you was telling that story, I hear somebody walking on the gravel already. Like I hear the footsteps, like, and I was like, that's why earlier I went stand up and shine my light back here.
So I heard that. Yeah, I heard that the genealogy for the royalty, the elite,
Uh-huh.
goes all the way back to the mo'o.
I mean,
So it's an interesting thing as well that the Hawaiian and then Kamehameha's genealogy go. That's my genealogy.
mhm.
which is interesting.
But then that kind of all goes back to, remember where I was telling you about that one episode on History Channel
Yeah, good to see you.
with the aliens and all of that.
Yeah,
Because then you got to kind of wonder where these many Hoonies came from.
yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly.
Where's the derivative from?
30K Adina, my cutting.
And all of
Well
that.
done.
There's just plenty questionable things, or
Yeah,
things that you could really question. But it's how do you find the actual truths or the facts behind it? Yeah, because of
yeah.
how books are written. It's basically
Based
the
on the
author's
author's yeah,
perspective
and
and
their
their point of view
worldview,
or
and
how
yeah.
they talk
Oh,
or whatever they feel. So it's trying to find the right answers or the right direction to find these answers. And I think for us it's hard because we didn't have a written language. You know what I mean?
yeah,
All,
yeah,
all
yeah,
our
yeah,
all
yeah,
our history and everything was
yeah,
was passed down through word of mouth.
yeah.
There were
Exactly.
stories, the olelo. So I always come into question with things like that too. You know how far our lineage goes back, because there's so many discrepancies too, right?
Yeah.
You talk about the Polynesian voyage, but then you hear other things where Hawaiians was the first.
Well, I even heard it too. It's like Honolulu is Honolulu, unless you're talking to somebody from Maui, and then it's Honolulu.
So yeah,
But then you
I
go
seen that
Kauai, and
too,
it's
where the
Honolulu.
names, yeah,
So I'm like,
the
yeah,
names of the islands
yeah,
is different, yeah,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah. See, oh,
But yeah, hey, right on, you guys.
oh.
Oh, Mo'olelo, yeah, thank you, way. I love it. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Mo'olelo, I love it. The word itself has mo'o in it. I was told by the kumu that shared it with me, the legends and lore. Mo'o is lizard, olelo is the spoken word. So mo'olelo is the talking gecko, gecko. He said mo'olelo is gecko, the talking gecko. It's insurance that our stories and our history will be passed down. Mo'olelo is you take the olelo, the word, and one word connects to another word, connects to another word, in the same way that the lizard, its tail connects all the way to its skull on one vertebrae, and it makes all of those vertebrae make one mo'o. All of the words make one mo'olelo, one story. Yeah. So that's kind of like, yeah, I love it. It's awesome. It's a great explanation, and that kind of is how Hawaiian is. We say mo'olelo, and you immediately know it's storytelling. Yeah, it's not like talking lizard, but that's what they would say because you think on that wavelength kind of thing. Anyway, guys, yes, I will go tomorrow night. We will maybe do stories of something else. I have a whole list of things, and then Matt even has a bunch in reserve as well. So yeah, we'll see you guys 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Hawaii Standard Time, Facebook. I post them on Facebook, the link, YouTube, TikTok, all of that stuff. My ka'i. Have a good night, you guys. Take care.
Ahuyo.
Ahui ho.
That's right.
Ooh, yeah, bugs.
We